Medical Cardiac Intensive Care Unit at Emmanuel Health Center in North Portland. Mr. Jacob Jones has been active in a number of service projects and organizations, including the Peace Corps, AmeriCorps, and he is an active nurse volunteer at the North by Northwest Community Health Center. Please join me in welcoming him back to Linfield College.
Nurses never work alone, so I'm going to also invite you to welcome Graham Seaton, a 2008 graduate of Linfield College of Nursing. As graduates from the School of Nursing, it's our great pleasure to stand here before this commencement. Thank you, President Helly, Dean Wolcott, for inviting us here to speak to the graduates, families, faculty, staff, and administrators. It's an honor to stand before so many great minds, and a challenge to capture your attention, even just for a moment. Graduates from both campuses, I congratulate you and applaud your dedication to your studies. I hold 2 bachelor's degrees, and so I've been in your seat twice. And from those experiences, I learned the 3 rules of speaking at these events. Be brief, be funny, and be seated. Our colleagues at the School of Nursing taught us to lead by example, and they've asked us to come here to tell you our story so that you can learn by example. I'm here to talk to you about community service as a lifelong priority for those of us who are fortunate enough to pass through the halls of a fine liberal arts education and a liberal arts campus. Graduates, your bags are now packed. You have the tools that you need. You're about to become part of the vital workforce of a global community. It's my belief that with this right of education also comes a necessary debt to pay to the society that's provided your education, the global community around you. Indeed, that entire global community that surrounds you and will benefit from your education desperately needs you to be attentive to this debt and timely in its payment. Current literature in the field of education suggests that service learning is perhaps both a form of experiential education as well as a philosophy of that experiential education. In my own world, service learning has become a way of life. Over the past 30 years, it's given me the opportunity to serve my community, and it's given me a perspective on global health. This perspective has made me a stronger nurse as I practice today. Regardless of your career path, regardless of where this education takes you, service to your community will enhance significantly both your chosen profession and your personal life. My first encounter with service learning goes way back to 1979 when I was chosen as a member of the Colorado Conservation Corps. That group was led by a group of college kids from campuses across Utah. They taught us to work as a team, that taught us how to build trails and campsites for people who were visiting Mesa Verde National Park. We climbed 14,000-foot peaks on weekends. Life lessons were plentiful. Now, years later, it's clear to me that at that time, I became a service learner. Before my time in the community, in the Colorado Conservation Corps, I dreamt of service in my future. In the 5th grade, I was introduced to Peace Corps by my teacher by way of his personal slideshows. Africa opened up to me as a place that someday I had to visit. I was convinced then that John F. Kennedy was right. We must ask what we can do for our country. I knew Peace Corps was in the cards for me, and as college happened and time passed, in 1990, I joined Peace Corps Guatemala and lived with a group of Pocomchi Indians. I worked with simple, community-driven forestry projects, and I was immersed in the service learning world. 3 things came to me, 3 lessons came to me during that time. Projects must arise from the need of the people who are hosting the projects. The people who come to do the service are there to provide expertise and elbow And then when the service learning is over, it's important to remember, and probably the most important thing in service learning, is that you have to bring that experience forward. You have to give back to the community at large, and you have to teach others, those people that are around you. So now, working as one of the most trusted members of society, as a working nurse, a witness and party to a wide range of healing and healthful experiences in my community. I provide individual health care to patients in a cardiac intensive care setting. But I challenge myself to reach out farther and seek health in other ways. So I volunteer at the North by Northeast Community Health Center. It's a neighborhood health center that's focused on diabetes and hypertension, and that's the biggest problem in my community. But still, even greater, I look farther out, and I volunteer as a member of the Health and Wellness Vision Council at the Columbia-Willamette United Way, where I work reviewing grants to support health-related projects in the four-county region. My desire to serve my community from a very wide perspective finds its earlier roots in the teachers that I encountered along the way in service learning experiences. And this past year, Graham Seaton helped me fulfill a dream that I started in 5th grade, to have a service learning experience in Africa. Graham saw me as a teacher, as a nurse, as a community activist, and as an educator. And he recruited me to travel with Sustainable Health Abroad. SHA, Sustainable Health Abroad, is a small program of the Carpe Diem Education. It's a Portland small business that provides service learning experiences for students and for adults all over the world. Since our trip to Uganda last year, Graham has helped set the course for what promises to be an exciting experience, learning adventure for many people for many years to come. Again, we don't work alone, so I asked Graham to come and share a story about how perspectives change when you become involved with service learning opportunities. Thanks for listening to my story. I hope that my example might lead you all to a lifetime of community service.
Thanks, Casey. I should start by saying congratulations to all of you to get into the chairs that you're sitting in now. It's taken a great deal. I did it recently, I know. Nice work on making good on your excellent choice of going to Linfield College. I should also thank Diane Welch for inviting us to speak. And Casey, it's always a pleasure to speak with you. Casey and I are leading a group of eight healthcare professionals back to Uganda next month to do healthcare assessments and health education. The endeavor came about because I sat with 4 nursing students in Loveridge Hall on the Portland Linfield campus and said it would be nice to apply our degrees out of the country. What I did not know was how formative that pursuit would be in the way I practice nursing today, and how that pursuit is a major part of my continued education in providing care for other human beings. Before I get too far into this, I want to provide a bit of a visual aid for you, so bear with me. Casey, can I borrow your shoe? Shoe. Yeah. I know, shoe. So, you all might be saying now, that's a nice enough shoe, right? But you might think I might have lost it a little bit standing up here talking about shoes. When I look at that shoe, I don't just see nice Italian leather. When I look at all your shoes, I see healthcare. I see a way to keep one man's feet off the ground to prevent disease and soil-borne parasites. When I look at this shoe, I see healthcare because I served in Uganda and gave the perspective that for a gross majority of the world, having shoes is a choice for one's health, not for one's fashion. For many people in the world, having shoes is the difference between a child being able to focus at school and a child being tired and glassy-eyed for his or her lessons. It may be the difference between a woman's body being able to absorb proper nutrients for a healthy pregnancy and that same woman not being able to breastfeed her children or her baby after struggling through 9 months while having an intestinal parasite. Shoes are a major way to prevent infection. They're extremely important to staying healthy. Shoes represent a broader growth in perspective for me that has changed the way I function as a nurse in Oregon. This growth has helped me care for patients who do not speak English. It has helped me be especially sensitive to cultural differences. It has also helped me gain a perspective on our current healthcare system. We are capable of amazing, life-saving procedures that require extremely high levels of organization. We are also capable of incredible waste and expense. Not everyone has the luxury of such a life. Thus, being an efficient nurse is paramount to the work that I do in the hospital. This same shoe even reminds me to ask every diabetic patient that I treat what they use for footwear, because improper footwear can lead to diabetic ulcers, making systemic infection and amputation real possibilities. Service learning has changed my nursing practice and enhanced the healthcare I'm able to provide on a daily basis. It is the backbone of the work that I do now. I could go into depth on some of the important things to look for in service opportunities. The importance of time over money in providing service, the importance of finding people who can be trusted, the key role of providing education to others. But more important than all of those things today is to inspire you to seek out opportunities to continue education with service. Casey and I would love for you to travel with us to Uganda or Oaxaca or wherever Sustainable Health Abroad takes us. But it's more important for you to find the service that drives your continued education. You all are leaving a formal learning setting, and now is the time for you to take charge. For you to make the syllabus. For you to pick the reading topics. So that the career that you find is one that is rich, not just monetarily, though that is important, but personally rich. We greatly encourage you to include service as a part of your continued education, because we are confident you will find it stretches and inspires you in ways you would not expect, and broadens your perspective on everything from the shoes that you wear to the diploma you're about to receive. Thank you for the chance to share with you about my experience with service and Sustainable Health Abroad. I hope to cross paths with many of you in the near future, wherever that may be, so that we can learn together, lead rich lives, and contribute meaningfully to our communities. Thank you.